it's challenging, but it's fun. I think trying to figure out how to put all of those puzzle pieces into different size theaters that the show wasn't necessarily designed to be in is a challenge, but we always get there, and it keeps us on our toes.
It's interesting, but it's fun. You know, it's like every time we do a new ballet, it's a different set of challenges.
The Part 1 frames are deceivingly, they look very simple when you see them, and that's the goal, right? You don't want to see all of the technology, you don't want to see all the complication, you want to see all of those things. There are 3 frames of various sizes that just slowly rotate throughout Part 1, and that rotation is all done by hydraulics. And that was one of the bigger challenges that we had to solve. Ultimately, we decided the best way to do this was just to drill. There's 3 hoses and a data cable for each frame. We just punch the holes right through the stage. They go into the trap room under the stage, which goes to a pump, which then comes back up to a control panel, which is downstage right, that we have all the levers to control all of that. In total, it's something like, I don't know, roughly 1,000 feet of hydraulic hose, give or take, that all run from a pump that weighs about 2,000 pounds. And of course, that was built in Europe, so there's all kinds of different power conversions that we have to figure out. It needs a very odd, not common for us, voltage. When they're moving, they look like they're floating on stage. It's really, really cool. I always take an opportunity to talk about the lasers. It's fantastic. I mean, it's a ballet and it has lasers in it. It's really, really great. I mean, come on. It's really cool. They're very specific, and they're used, I think, very, very smartly and intentionally.
We were introduced to Wayne, asked to come in and look at the laser effects. So, you know, Lucy Carter, she's the main designer, so we worked with her and Wayne just to develop the effects that she was looking for.
I call all of the light cues. In Part 2, I call all the laser cues, which is an exciting thing. First time in almost 30 years, first time in my career that I'll call laser go. So that's exciting.
I think it's the nicest bit about the end bit is just that, because in the run-up, all the effects are quite linear, and then this is kind of one that's a bit more jittery, and it's a bit more of a kind of surprise for the audience, I'd say.
This is more as artistic, and yeah, we enjoy it.
If you just look at it, you're like, yeah, this all belongs, which is really cool. For Part 3, there are 3 smaller projectors that are blended over a 63-foot screen for Part 3. It sits right above the dancers and has this great image of Waves, which is really fantastic.
So Waves is very much based on her childhood, and she used to do a very specific pathway, a kind of walk that she used to do quite a lot, which was to the lighthouse. So I walked to a point quite near Gadrivi Point, which is the walk that she did from St Ives to where the lighthouse is. And I was kind of like looking out at the sea and thinking, well, she must have experienced exactly what I'm experiencing now. So I was just trying to get into that kind of mindset of what she would have seen at the time. And then we shot it in very, very slow motion. We wanted to do that too, so it becomes, you know, it's not just an image of the waves, it becomes a choreographic form in itself. And obviously Wayne can then work with that to make sure it didn't, you know, it's not just a video playing as a screen, it actually becomes much more structural. And like almost like it is kind of like it creates the environment, it is the kind of like set design.
Just hope the audience comes to experience it, because it's the dancers, of course, I mean, they're just going to tell the story in such a beautiful way through their body. And then what Wayne has done with his artistic team, I think is just really great. I don't think there's anything technical that gets in the way of telling the story.